Okay, today here I'm going to go through the removal installation of the oil seal on the front axle of the Suzuki Samurai 5-speed 1987. This is a JX Samurai. I've got it lifted up here and I just moved it and lowered the other side so that the gear oil would not run out of the tube, which it did. And the reason I'm doing this is because the seal here was compromised, and therefore oil was running right through there, as you see it coming out and running out the bottom and coming out of the assembly. So this seal has to be replaced, and to do that as well, I'm replacing these top and bottom, I think they're called kingpin bearings, and their races. And then I'm going to put the repack the axle. It's clean right now. I cleaned it with kerosene, and then I blew all of the old grease out with compressed air, and I'm going to try to do that to put the new grease back in. But these are all the components. Now this is backwards, and I'm going to do the other side too from the beginning, but this just kind of shows you how this starts out. There's all the parts. There's the axle. The axle's actually going to go in this way. It'll be going in like that. This is what the axle looks like. Got ball bearings inside there. It's clean right now. And when we put this in, we have to be very careful that the axle does not damage the new seal. So I have to clean the rest of the grease out of the inside of here. There's still grease inside because I don't want to mix the greases. Here's the new bearings and races for the top here. And these are the other components that hold the grease on this ball as it articulates. And these are the tops that hold in those kingpin bearings or king bearings. Here's our seal. There's the numbers. That's the seal, the 222-630. And then these bearings, top and bottom, are the 30302. And we have a few other things. Of course, this goes in the back. This one goes in first. Then this one goes on the back. Of course, here's our wheel. I have to clean the rest of the grease out of that and sand the braking surfaces. Here's the brake components that I disassembled the caliper. There's the old bearings. And I use these black gloves. Come in neoprene, come in real handy. Don't get grease all over everything. Anyway, this is the hub, and I'll show you how that goes back together. I really wish I would have had a video like this before I started. This is where I set the caliper up on top. You don't want to do any damage to that brick liner. You'll be replacing that. Here's a felt seal that goes in between those two. It comes off over the top, so you can't replace that unless you have some kind of kit. But that's going to go back on. What I don't have on this one is there's what appears to be a beeswax seal that was on the inside of this. It was not in stock through AutoZone at this time. Anyway, there's the bearings that go top and bottom with the races. The races go in first. And I had to drive these out of there with a brass bar. Very carefully drive them out. Okay, I'm going to stop for a while. I'm going to repack this bearing here. I'm going to pack these bearings and pack these wheel bearings that are going to go back in. They're still good. There's a new seal to go behind that.